Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Nubian Sun Ra, back with another video. And today I will be putting out another video about shadow work. And I want to put this video out because shadow work is a never-ending process. And its root purpose is to help us cure and make peace with trauma and things of that nature. So during shadow work, a lot of times we have to reflect on uh, memories that are distasteful, things that we would like to forget about. But a lot of times, trying to force those memories out does more harm than good, because we usually will cover it up with escapism of some sort, and it doesn't really help with our problem, because our problem's still there at the end of the day. So we really have to work through the shadow side of ourselves, and the shadow side are personality habits, personality traits or habits that we accumulated before our awakening. We all have to grow in a dark place like a seed to be able to grow and become light in a most authentic way, because that's when everything is revealed. But first we have to go through trials and tribulations, and we have to not be ashamed of our shadow side, be afraid of the dark, basically. And I just feel as if, like, when we are accustomed to facing our shadow side, and when we are open to the darkness, it's easier to ignore illusions once things actually come to light. We get to understand that it's useful and it's helpful just as well as the light. We have to balance it out, and we can't have one without the other. Truly, I feel as if we never really been able to have one positive or one negative. I think it's always been a balance. I'm not sure in history, but for me, it's just like common sense, because that's the way animals are in nature, in the wilderness. Everything is balanced in a certain way. And I feel like it's the same way with us as people. And we're not really ashamed of ourselves after we accept our darkness, because we actually understand that it had to be something that we had to go through to get to where we are. And that's the biggest part of healing. And that's why also I do not agree with the fact that people would say that the darkness is evil, or it's ugly, or it's dirty, because it has a truth there, a very deep truth. And whether you want to see it or not, it's always there to speak its mind the way that it feels fit, basically. And it's the same way with the 3D. You know, black people, quote unquote, we are very vocal when it comes to injustice and all the things that are being swept under the rug, basically. So I also wanted, this will be a partial video because I also wanted to speak on a topic I said I wanted to talk about with staying together and conquer and dividing. And I don't want to get anything misconstrued, so I'm going to be very careful what I say with this because it's a very sensitive topic. And a lot of times we avoid all the hard topics. But here I go. So, yeah. I just feel like when it comes to family and the way we treat each other, it's spiritual based. It's not only, oh, we have a problem with this person because they talk about everybody in the family and, all that stuff, because it's not really about the actions of how we treat each other. It's on how we look at each other. What we think about each other comes after what we think, because the thought has to have a form before it comes into action. So when we look at each other, it's like I feel like a spiritual warfare in the family between light spirits, angelic spirits, if you catch that from my last video, and the darker spirits. And a lot of times, the ones that are neutral will be stuck in the middle, and there's just pretty much a whole lot of drama going around and things of that nature. And I just feel like that's a divide and conquer technique when it comes to, oh, do you believe in God or Jesus, religion or not? And not only that, but just like when you go deeper into spirituality, like past life connections with those family members. And a lot of times people say like, oh, we have to come together as a community, but I just feel like it's not really realistic because we haven't really addressed the real issue. And I feel this way particularly because I pretty much get tired of other black girls want to take my blackness away from me because I'm light in spirit. And growing up, I always was called a white girl, and they took my blackness from me, so now I wasn't black anymore. And now I understand, like, no, I don't want to claim that anyway. But growing up and not understanding what they were speaking on, it was like, it made you feel different. And it's like it was like they were singling me out. And I felt like they were punishing me because of that, of what they was accusing me of. And I didn't even really understand it in the first place. And I know that a lot of other, girls might go through the same thing, because it's like that in family. Like they try to separate the upper class or the ones that got money in the family from the ones that do not. It's the same thing. It's all just like putting people in categories and stuff, But the problem is that we do not really think about how it affects our children in family units, in the community, in the schools. You know what? I think I'm about to do a 3-partial because I was just thinking about this the other day about the school situation. Like the kids be so angry, because a lot of times it be a lot of bullying going on in the school, and a lot of people think it's cool, and it's really not cool at all. And I just feel like when we come together and organize and actually operate from a higher place in our mind and operate from our hearts and just change the way we look at each other, the thought process of how we think on each other, that'll be a big difference, not only for us, with our mental health, but for our children. Like I get tired of always having to hear stories about children being bullied for things they can't really help. You know, a lot of times it just be anger, misplaced hate and anger, and or like monkey see, monkey do. Maybe they see it at home, and then the school has to deal with it. A lot of the adults that's in the schoolhouse are just as immature as the children. That's just my opinion, and it's a strong one too. And so nothing really get done with changing the process of how the children get to spend their days in the schoolhouse. And I know it's all deeper than what's on the surface on the 3D, but it's just the fact that not all the time we're able to fix our problems with spirituality whenever it comes to having to manifest things into the 3D, because usually it's not really ideal that everyone will be able to have their spiritual awakening all at the same time. It happens like a biological clock for everybody. So it's something that has to be worked through the system, like a protocol or something like that, because a lot of times people won't do it unless it is a protocol or something that they find that is worthy of listening to. And that's how we ended up getting into all these laws with the government and stuff. It's the same thing. But why isn't any of those things positive? Why is everything so flat to the point where criminals and people that ain't got no business getting over the laws and the goodness of the certain laws that actually uphold morals and values, they could just get through it. Like it's like a loophole. I just feel like it's kind of it might be kind of over the top the way I'm saying this, because I just feel like it should be airtight. It should be an airtight process for a lot of things that are very important. That's just how I feel. And I find fault in the government a lot of times. I get frustrated with the fact that they don't give us any say so on how we can change our own lives. They don't want us to be able to succeed, and that's obvious. And they want us to act like we don't see it. And I'm just a person that can't just act like I don't see it. So I have to speak my mind on that. Yeah, I hope you all are drinking your water, earthing, meditating, doing your affirmations, and just loving yourself. It's important to love yourself, because if we love ourselves, then we are able to love those around us. And just starting with loving ourselves, we just start to see changes in the way we look at other people when we see them. I feel like that's important, because a lot of people don't understand. Some people, I don't mean to laugh, but because it's not funny, but it's just sometimes I just have these flashbacks of people being rude and stuff, so I laugh. It's important for us to work on our way we look at ourselves and loving ourselves, so when we see other people, we do not think ill intent, because you don't have to do those things. It's a choice. And I feel like some people are just so used to a certain habit and routine to the point where they don't really think about it anymore. So it becomes a natural reaction. And this is just a reminder, you know, if this is something you can resonate with, you know, you could, just check your thoughts, check how you feel about a situation, so maybe you can redirect those thoughts before they get out of hand. That's a technique, and it's one that we all have to use, because nobody's perfect. It's just how good is your skills and being able to use those tools. Well, everyone, have a great night. Peace and love.